Ahoy hoy! This is Black Goat. In September 2025, the third season of Alice in Borderland was released on Netflix. In this video, I'll share my personal thoughts after finishing the season, including the connection between the story and the manga, a few details and inconsistencies, and what I see as its strengths and weaknesses. Before we start, a quick note. There will be spoilers for both the live action and the original manga. After the Shibuya meteor incident, everyone returns from the Borderland to the real world. Arisu and Usagi get married, and it feels like a decent ending. But since Usagi still carries trauma from her father's suicide, this season builds on that unresolved shadow. The writers deliberately expanded this emotional wound to become the trigger for Season 3's events, which, personally, I think is a reasonable choice. To bring the characters back into the game without staging another disaster, the script introduced Banda, now one of the citizens of Borderland. Banda attempts to recruit Arisu into becoming a citizen, manipulating Professor Ryuji Matsuyama, who's obsessed with exploring the afterlife, and exploiting Usagi's guilt about her father. There are 2 points that I find quite forced. First, Banda assumed Arisu could design games just because he's good at surviving them. But being good at playing doesn't mean you're good at creating them. Arisu fundamentally rejects the Borderlands system of death games, so why would he suddenly become a sadistic game master? If I were Arisu, I'd probably just create a game solely to take revenge on Banda. Second, Professor Ryuji's motivation is confusing. He initially just wanted to reach the afterlife, which doesn't sound that hard. Couldn't he just inject himself and be done with it? So he doesn't need to follow any order from Banda. Then we learn he had once entered the Borderland after his traffic accident, just like the survivors of the Shibuya incident. That's when the audience realized he'd already been there before. The word Borderland comes from the Japanese phrase Imawa no Kiwa, which literally means the land of one's dying moment. That's why the Taiwan title translates it as Alice in the Land of Limbo. When Ryuji returns to the Borderland, he initially fulfills his wish, but then he wants to know who controls this world. The writers clearly mirrored Arisu's curiosity from earlier seasons, except Ryuji's obsession is even stronger. Arisu gives up truth for love, while Ryuji sacrifices love for truth, and both of their love refers to Usagi. That's why the show hints at his possible feelings for Usagi, but this subplot feels underdeveloped. By the end, the emotional tension between them feels rushed and inconsistent. The final Vortex scene drags a bit. He wants to kill her, then hesitates, wants her dead, then wants to die with her, kidnaps Arisu's wife, then hands her back after the struggle a few seconds. It's too many reversals in too short a time. If they had spent more time earlier developing his background, his obsession would have made more sense. In the manga, the ending leaves the truth a mystery. We never learn what the Borderland actually is. That ambiguity is what makes the story so profound. But in this season, Banda literally steps out of the Borderland into reality, turning the metaphorical into something physical. That, to me, breaks the elegant mystery of the original. And then there's the time paradox. In the real world, Arisu's time in the Borderland lasts only about 2 minutes. If he spends 10 days there, that's thousands of times slower than reality. So when we see Banda meet Anne in the real world, well, unless Anne's become the Flash or Banda ate a slow fruit from One Piece, that scene makes no sense.
Overall, the original editions in Season 3 depart from the manga and feel a bit like the Kakegurui live-action treatment, adding key plot points beyond the source material. I don't think Season 3 destroys the original, but the result isn't particularly great. Personally, I prefer the manga's open ending. Don't think the manga ended because the author could not finish it. It was a deliberate choice. In the Queen of Hearts game, Mira offers several plausible explanations, then rejects them all, as she asks, "Does the answer really matter?" The whole point isn't just to force people to play death games, it's to make people rethink what it means to live. In the manga's final chapter, ordinary people are asked the same question: why do you live? That is the question that matters for Arisu and every character, and the answers vary. Life's meaning isn't fixed. Just like the question, what is the borderland, there's no single truth. Each person can interpret it differently. That ambiguity is what I liked about the manga. Season 3 draws a hard line and says the borderland is a tangible, cross-dimensional place.
And I don't really think that was an improvement.
That said, if you judge Season 3 by how many live-action adaptations have been butchered, it's not the worst. I like that the finale replaced the manga's random street interviews with follow-ups on the Season 2 survivors. It gave the characters a sense of aftermath and change, which I really appreciated. A quick detail. In the live action, Arisu works as an intern at a psychiatric facility, which ties back to Mira's influence in the manga. From their dialogue during the croquet game, Arisu felt that Mira's actions had, in a way, saved him, and that pushed him into that line of work. When you return to reality, he started his professional journey to become a psychologist. The final scene that cuts to America feels like a setup for a Western version, and that worries me. Some adaptations show how badly things can go. Takegurui is one of those examples.
Anyway, those are my thoughts on Season 3. What did you think of the story and its ending? Did any scene or character stand out to you? Feel free to share your thoughts below. If you liked this video, please leave a comment, like, and share. And if you really enjoyed it, consider sending a super thanks to support my work. By the way, there's a fan theory about the official poster. Every character raising their hand is actually a survivor, except for the brother lifting his sister, which symbolizes his sacrifice. But it's unconfirmed yet. What do you think?
I'm not a native English speaker. Obviously, my accent shows that, right? So I used an AI text-to-speech voice for the narration. The original script was written in Cantonese by myself. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Black Goat. See you in the next one.